here's the problem, Kyle, is this was supposed to take effect for us January 1, 2026, because we did everything we were supposed to do. We can't get a straight answer from the DLGF on how we're supposed to proceed from here, because they're waiting to see what you guys do. Okay, I'm a realist, I understand that. But if we don't act today, January of 26 is coming quick.
I agree.
And then all of a sudden, we're gonna have to start all back over again to get the same answers that we've got now, and spend another, I have no idea what that cost, Fred, to get that. But it was thousands of dollars we spent to get this put together, and I'm sorry, as far as I'm concerned, I hope every single fireman and every single cop votes Braun out next time. I voted for him, I like the guy.
Not next time.
He's a one-term governor as far as I'm concerned now.
He's killing us already.
And so if Jake made the suggestion of putting you and Braun and some other people in a room with a bunch of rural fire chiefs, not IFD, not Fishers, not Carmel, not Zionsville, and hear the fact of the matter. Because I'm telling you,
When we leave this, we will be making the request.
we are suffering here, I'm telling you. And this is gonna be detrimental to my little department.
Is there anything we can do to encourage this meeting?
You could reach out to the governor's office, but I mean, that would probably be the best. Reach out to the governor's office. I'll reach out to him. I'll reach out to one of his advisors when I walk out here and see what we can do. And because it's one of those things where on the other side, there has been a massive push for property tax cuts. A massive push.
$200.
Yeah.
And the tax, people want tax
Listen,
cuts.
I appreciate the tax cut. I appreciate what you do, Kyle. I honestly do. But $200 versus, and from where I'm sitting.
And people wanted more. People thought $200 was. There's other people on the other side of this who are saying 200. I think the tax cap's up $300, but I hear you saying. But if I could finish.
Go ahead.
There are some people saying that that's nowhere near enough. And so there's other people on this other side of this conversation saying $300 is enough. They want to see, 600, 800 more. And so this is something where you have to find a balance. And I hear what you're saying, but I mean that's not untrue. But there are a lot of people tonight saying, well, it was only $300.
Well, where are these people that want these cuts? Because obviously these people didn't want those cuts because they voted to up their taxes so we could do a territory so they could be covered by emergency services.
I understand
But that tax cut and this fire territory stuff is two different things. Those people wanting those tax cuts live in communities that are funded differently than what this fire territory is funded. Our fire territory in this area didn't affect Susie and Fishers, or somebody in the town of Brownsburg, or someone in Greenfield, or Greenwood. It didn't affect those people. The elected officials in this area voted to do what was right for their people and what their people had came to them and asked them for. The $300 is for everyone in the state. This does not affect everyone in the state of Indiana.
So I hit 18,000 doors in 22 and about 6,000 doors in 24. And a lot of them were driving home to home in this community. Property tax cuts was a major issue. Talking to these people at their doors. I'm not saying we can't find a levy difference, potentially having that discussion, or is it lit, or wherever it may be, to have that discussion about the fire territories that contracted this year. But I do need to, there's the reality of those homeowners who I was at their doorstep, that's what they told me.
I bet if you went back and asked all 18,000 and you asked them about emergency services, I bet they'd put that over $200 a year.
It is always this balance, and it's tough.
Yeah, I'm saying, but if you went back and knocked on all 18,000 doors, I would venture to say, if you asked them, hey, if I had to cut taxes and get you $200 more a year, or you could have staff fire apparatus and emergency services in your area, I'm going to venture to say 18,000 people would vote or tell you, hey, I'll take option 2. I would want emergency
I wanted to see
services.
that tax cut.
And I hear you.
I see how it's trickled down and what it's affected.
But on that tax cut though, Kyle, so that tax cut though didn't work. Then they raised some sort of income tax. So I just heard about this. I don't know where they're getting the rest of the money. So they cut one and raised something else in there.
So it's a 3% tax credit cap, or tax credit, 10% tax credit with 300% cap.
Okay.
And then in fiscal year 28, the 1% lit, that's the property tax, I get the title, I said it earlier, I forgot the title, goes away. And so you'll see in Madison County, all the units combined over the next 3 years, you'll see a decrease in $35 million that is from tax cuts, $7 million in fiscal year 26 from taxpayer savings, $7 million in taxpayer savings in 27, and then it goes in 2028. You see taxpayer cuts and taxpayer savings of $24 million from that lit change. Every lit that's currently in place sunsets on December 31st, 2026. Every lit needs to be reapproved. And so, you're talking about the lit.
Right.
The county can do, I mentioned this before, it's up to 2.9%. Of that 2.9%, 1.2% can go to the county's general fund. There's two 0.4% or 0.4%. We're talking about with the fire districts. They can get 0.4% as part of the property tax. Going back to the lit, they can also get 0.4% in the lit. 0.2% can go to non-municipal taxing units, that your townships or other different unit types, and then 1.2% can go to non-municipal, basically 1.2% can go to municipalities that are not up to the threshold where they have their own lit. So when you say up to 2.9%, it's not a county can't say, hey, I'm going to increase our general expenses 2.9%. The most that the county council would do for the county's operations is 1.2. That 0.4, that 0.2, that 1.2 would have to be separate, different asks. Then the municipalities themselves that are over 3,500 individuals, they can have a 1.2% lit as well. And so if they desire it, if their constituents feel it's a need.
Yeah.
And so in this situation, so for the 0.4, if the fire units say, hey, we need money, they can go to the county council and say, we want a 0.4% lit. The question I have, and I want to make sure we look at, is if that 0.4% lit does not meet the threshold that Mr. Gaskell was talking about, what can we look at? Is there a different percentage breakup? Do we give the county less? Do we give maybe the fire more? Those are questions we can look at. And I want to look at, and when I leave here, I'm going to call one of the governor's advisors and say, can we have a meeting about this to adjust it? And if we can't adjust it, can we look at the different lit portion of it? It's one of those things where I'm not opposed to fire districts or anything like that. We did have a massive push for people wanting property tax relief. That is it.
But did they know that their fire protection was gonna get sacrificed because of that?
That's what we're talking about. We did not know that.
That's been talked about for the last 3 months. Because there's been push, because a lot of folks say, I want Governor Braun's SB1 as originally written. For those who followed along, would have known that those would have been massive cuts. And so there was this push from the Senate to say, well, let's kind of get it a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. There was a massive pushback from taxpayers saying, why are you leaving the Governor Braun's original plan? Right? There was. If you look online and talking to folks, there was a big pushback. Well, why did you leave Governor Braun's initial plan? Governor Braun's initial plan would have resulted in a real, how would fire districts on under Senator, I keep saying Senator, Governor Braun's initial plan? Can you kind of give an idea of what that would look like?
We don't know what his original plan looked like. I don't anymore.
So it would have cut some tax cuts. It would have been. So we saw about we're talking about 200 to 300. We're looking about 700 to 800. Can you kind of talk about what that $700 or $800 cut would look like for you all? So you're talking about $200, $300. You're saying it's real massive. $700 to $800. Can you talk about how much more would that have been for that cut would have been for fire districts? How that would look like to you all?
Well, it's not the tax cut and the fire